do it. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us today at SPS Alumni Conversations. We're so excited for today's conversation. I do want to let you all know, as things are going on, feel free, please drop any questions into the Q&A function, and we'll be able to answer them as the conversation gets going. So without further ado, I'd love to hand it over to Professor David Cooper at the Tisch Institute for Global Sport here at NYU SPS. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Danielle, and welcome, everybody. I am personally very happy about this conversation we're going to have. We are blessed to have Feng join us, a representative of our country at the Olympics, but also one of my former students. So I have a lot of joy seeing you, Tom. Thank you. We're excited to hear about your journey. And without further ado, I will just jump in. You have been called the soft-spoken Olympian. So that characteristic has to start somewhere. Can you kind of tell us how the dream started for you in table tennis or maybe just Olympic aspirations?
Yeah, thank you, Professor. So I started playing table tennis when I was 5, during kindergarten. So I moved to the US when I was 8. My family moved from China to the US. And when I first got in touch with table tennis, so my dad has this one table tennis table in his company back in China. So I was like, the height of the table, and then he would like serve the balls to me, and then it will always hit my head. And I was like, I have to be better at table tennis, and I need to beat my dad in the future. So yeah, that's how I started, table tennis. So I've always been, always practicing table tennis and always skipping classes. So back in China, when I was in, I think, first grade or second grade, so I will only take, math class, English or Chinese class, and then English class, and the all other classes I would just skip it and then go practice table tennis.
Okay.
So after I moved to the US and I continued to practice, but I did not have that good of an environment back in China. But it was still a pretty good environment. So I would, practice after school, high school, and after I graduated from high school, I took a gap year before entering professional college. That's when I, trained 9-10 hours a day for the preparation of 2016 Olympics in Rio. And luckily, I got selected as a first athlete for Team USA. And that's for 2016. And then for 2020 Olympics, we had the qualification back in March of 2020. And well, I was a senior in college.
Right.
So I think I took 1 month off of January and February. I think
Right.
February. And I just went back to Houston. I trained with my coach for a month. I was like recovering, and I hope I can make it for another year.
Sure.
So I ended up getting selected as an alternate for the Tokyo.
Right.
But, I still went to Tokyo because the COVID protocol, they have to have an alternate for this year's game, and I ended up being the team captain for 2020 games.
That's fantastic. So just to recap, so your dream started with a little bit of a father-son challenge. And I got a picture of you from opening ceremonies from the last Olympics, so I know you were there. So you talked about, just the intense preparation, right? And when you were looking at colleges, obviously you chose NYU. Why NYU? And if you could give us some insights, how do you have a sports management degree, obviously, graduated in
Yeah.
2020. I know you're at Stern now, but how do you juggle academics, a very, kind of robust schedule of academics with those many hours of training? How do you do that?
Okay, yeah. So there's a very funny story because like I applied NYU as an ED when I was a junior in high school, but back then I didn't have any achievements in table tennis, so I got rejected. So I guess like
I'm sorry.
first year first year of college, I went to University of Georgia,
Okay.
and then there were no table tennis environment there. I could not practice. I had to drive like 2 hours to find a club, and it's very hard to travel. So for sophomore year, I thought I have to transfer to NYU, give it another shot, and then at that time I was an Olympian already, so I guess they take in consideration, you know. So they accepted me. NYU accepted me. That's really glad. And like I moved to New York, and then that's when I have a lot of opportunities to travel and practice.
Okay.
So in the city, I can go to school after school. Maybe if there's like 2 hours between class, I can spend like 1 hour to train. And also, JFK is 40 minutes from NYU, so I can go to JFK, fly to Europe, or fly to anywhere I have competitions,
Okay.
and keep up the pace. Yeah.
For sure.
And you're asking how I juggle the academics and
Right.
sports. So I think you remember I always ask you if I can extend my homework, or I'll be absent for a month or something. So
That is
usually,
true.
yeah. So basically, if there's a final or test, I will first tell the professor, hey professor, I have a tournament coming up. If I need an extension, I'll give you a heads up, but I'll be missing this amount of class. But I will study on my own and then get the information, and then maybe get some notes from my classmates. So that's how I
Indeed.
spent the semester.
Well, yeah, and I had the pleasure of having you in our real world program. And, we worked on for those of you who are listening, a New York Jets project to identify an international market.
Yeah.
And I know during that time, that was kind of like right when COVID kind of, descended on the world, and we had a lot of challenges. Speaking of challenges, early on, I know when you were kind of qualifying as a young man, trying to make, Olympic team, you had some challenges. You didn't qualify at one point and kind of, overcame those obstacles. Like, maybe talk to us about some challenges you've had that are prepared you for the moment that you became an Olympian, and also, for your post-Olympic career. Like, what are some of the challenges that you've kind of identified in your life that might prepare you?
But I think the most challenge is pressure. Pressure from your coach, pressure from your parents. Well, that pressure is not directly coming from your parents or coach, but when you think how much they have supported you, how much they have sacrificed,
Right.
You have the own pressure on you. You will think, if I don't make this Olympics, then it's kind of just, you will feel really bad.
Right.
You kind of just like let down for those who supported you. So I think that pressure is the biggest obstacle, and then you have to learn how to turn that pressure into motivation, and then use that as power to become better. So when I was training 10 hours a day, there are times that I felt so tired and then so unmotivated. Now I think of if I didn't make it, if I didn't make the Olympics, then the 5 minutes of practice may have a difference on the results, right? So I'll just keep going. So you always have to have like a faith, and then you always have to have a, I guess a goal. It's just in your mind. You have to have a good mindset, and then mind games. Your mental have to be strong, so it doesn't crush you.
Yeah, and I think a lot of students can, relate to that pressure too, right? Whether you're an athlete, student athlete, or otherwise, for sure. Uh, so just a quick transition now. You obviously are you graduated from SBS, and you're now in graduate studies at Stern. I believe you're working with one of the massive global companies in Deloitte, and doing some really great things. So you're preparing yourself for, again, your kind of post-athletic career. Um, are there experiences that you've had as an athlete, like, you were the team captain, right, at the Olympics? That's something that very few of us could ever lay claim to. Are there experiences as an athlete, maybe it's leadership, maybe it's the pressure that will translate to your career, whether it's at Deloitte or other, another organization? Like, are there things that transfer from being an athlete at that level that transfer to business or any other practice?
Yeah, so the job at Deloitte, I actually, got it from one of my mentors. He also plays table tennis. So I graduated back in 2020. It was during the COVID time, right? I think it was really hard for my classmates to find a job during that time because, everyone was getting fired during the COVID time. So my mentor, he asked me if he wanted to work on my team. So he gained a little bit of work experience after graduation. I was like, yeah, sure. And then I can think about what I want to do in the future, but use this as a time to transition into a work experience. So definitely there will be a lot of benefits as an athlete because you know a lot of people, and then basically you're doing a lot of network already. There are a lot of opportunities out there. It's just right now it's COVID. The opportunity doesn't seem really. It will come to you, but it just takes time, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
But I'm
Got it.
also doing a lot of other stuff like voluntarily stuff for my table tennis association.
Okay.
So I was on the board for a year for being the athlete rep. We get a seat on the board, so we're helping the associations, and they want me to do the high performance director. No, not high performance director. They want me to be in the high performance committee to make the rules of the national team trials. So determining where it's going to be, and then when it's going to be, and then basically different stuff related to table tennis association.
Okay.
And then also doing something related to USOPC.
Okay.
Like those opportunities all came from being going to the games and knowing people from the USOPC. Yeah, etc.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, just a quick aside, you had mentioned your mentor. It begs the question, like, in your life, we talk about mentorship and having people, whether they're on your own personal executive team or just people in your life, right, that can kind of steer you, guide you, be there for you. Your mentor, you mentioned, love to know who that is, if you're willing to reveal, but are there others in your life that you kind of look to, if you were to create a team of, 3 people, that you rely on, like, who are they and why?
A team of 3 people. Well, I guess.
Or as many as you want.
Well, definitely, I'm gonna include my dad.
Yes.
Yeah, and then still trying. There are a lot of people that support you and help you on the way. So if you want to create a team, that's definitely not going to be 3 people. I don't think 3 people you can, like, I can become an Olympian or.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely like, over 20, 30 people, because everyone will be supporting you. And in every small steps, if you messed up, then it's gonna affect the end result.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an important lesson for everybody, including myself, having been in the working world for a long time. If you don't have the support, and I work with professional athletes a lot, even the professional athletes, if they don't have the support, things can become very difficult. especially if you're planning. So kudos to you, man, for kind of assembling people and accepting their gift of mentorship. So very good. Um, Another question I mentioned, I had you in the real world program. Is it in your mind as we start, in a Winter Olympic cycle, and we're seeing all these incredible athletic achievements around the world, right? Barriers are being broken down. We're watching sports from Europe that we probably never watched before. F1, Premier League, all those are becoming more dominant. We're learning more about athletes. Is it important to have kind of a global or universal perspective when it comes to competition, when it comes to preparing for a job, a new career? Is it good to have a global perspective? Is that something you took from your studies? How do you feel about that?
Yes, definitely. Because pre-COVID, maybe we don't have so much time online. But after 2 years, I think we all know that we spend so much time online and then we get all the information online. Even like we're work from home. So I've been work from home for a year. I haven't been to my office. I don't even know like what they look like. So you probably will get a job working from home because people they're already used to work from home. You might be
Right.
working for like a company in China or a company in Europe. You're just like working remotely. So definitely you have to have information and knowledge on what's happening all over the globe because it's just so many opportunities
Yeah.
in this.
Do you have any tips, any advice for incoming students, perhaps? And maybe that's one of them, but others?
Yeah, do a lot of networking. Right now, even you're a freshman, you have to spend time to build the relationship. Definitely network a lot. I guess like sports is all about networking. You can't just ask them to play table tennis. Come to me and find me in New York. You can't ask them to do all kinds of stuff. But yeah, network is the most important aspect, and then also always be seeking for job opportunities for internships, and then just get some experience, know what you want to do, because right now I still trying to see what I want to do. So I guess I'm kind of late. I spent too much time playing table tennis, but you'll have the time, to get to know what you want to do. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the phrase I like to use is networking is one letter from not working. So I think I stole it from somebody, I can't remember who, but it makes a lot of sense. And as an athlete, you do have access to more people. And by the way, like your story, right, is like a little bit of an entryway that maybe others don't necessarily have. So it's important for everyone to be able to tell their story, right? Whether you're interviewing for a job or, you know, talking to someone about what you're interested in, everyone should have a story. You have a powerful one. So we got a couple questions. I'm gonna toss a couple in here and then we'll see where they go. So the first one is, this is a tough one. If you were inducted into an NYU Hall of Fame, would you wear an SPS shirt or a Stern shirt?
Of course, that's SPS.
Nice. All right. Whoever asked that, there's your answer. Sorry, Stern. If you are no longer playing professional table tennis, how have you filled the time during those hours that you typically would train?
Yeah, so right now, I'm working from 9 to 5 or 8:30 to 5, and then that's already 8 hours. But after work, I still have the online program. You have to spend a little bit of time for that. So it's I don't know, because when I played professionally, I trained 9 hours a day. So I would train. There are 3 sessions from first sessions from 8:30 to 11:30. Second sessions from like 2:30 or 3 to 6, and then the evening sessions from 7 to 9. And I usually put in some like physical workouts in between. So that's like professional table tennis life. But if you go to school, then usually you will have, I don't know, 2 to 3 classes a day. Maybe like, I forgot my schedule, but you
Right.
can always find time to practice where you always have stuff to do. So it's,
So what's the social life like, Tom?
yeah, well, the social life,
You need balance, it sounds like.
yeah, well, I can find balance because like I like to play video games, so that's my balance.
Oh, now I see.
So like during my junior semester, I think spring semester of junior. So for weekdays from Monday to Friday, I will go to school, and then Friday I will go to JFK, fly to Europe, and then I signed a club in Austria, so I'll play a few matches for them, and then come back on Monday. But when I'm in Austria, I can still play video games, right? If I'm not playing the match, I just have to win. But that's
Understood.
how I relax and then
That
balance out.
the competitive fire just remains. You are the penultimate millennial, my friend. Video games is we have one question too. I've got some really good ones here. Real quick though, would you represent NYU in table tennis this spring?
Yes.
Put you there you go. There you go. The anonymous questioner. There you go. There's your answer. Um, going back to your networking, Tom, two questions. One, any advice
Mhm.
on networking from your personal experiences? And similarly, are there kind of best practices that people should be paying attention to, or maybe worst practices, things you shouldn't do? Any thoughts on that? And
Okay.
that came from Rebecca.
So I'll start from things you shouldn't do is, after networking with somebody for like 1 time or 2 times, just like you just directly go ask them, what you need. But you have to keep in mind there is a trade-off. Like, you're gonna give and then you're gonna take, right? So be patient, build a relationship. Don't ask, what you want too fast.
Right.
And then, so for me, I never really done any networking on LinkedIn, but I think it is a good platform. So you just have to ask them, to do some chat and then talk about, 5 minutes phone call or, a Zoom meeting. It's really easy right now because everything's on Zoom and online. But for me, I just, go to events, talk to people. You will know a lot of people by talking to people. Yeah.
Got
in
it.
the real world.
Yeah, for sure. No, great practical advice. The most favorite Olympian you have ever met?
Favorite Olympian, probably Michael Phelps or Kevin Durant.
Okay, great. What keeps you grounded, Tom, and mentally stable, even with the stress and the pressure? Like what allows you to kind of move through the world as best you can?
So when I feel stressed and grounded, I'll turn on my laptop, play a Apex game, FPS. No, I'm serious. This is how I balance my stress.
That's good. No, that's great. That's
Uh,
listen, that everyone has to have their own thing. So I'm glad you have it.
Yeah, okay. But practically, if I would give advice, you probably have something that you like to do. It's probably not video games, but then if you find something that you do it and then you feel happy, that's what you should do when you feel stressed.
Got it. Here's an interesting question. Hi, Tom. I'm going to read it verbatim as best I can. Hi, Tom. So excited to listen to your conversation. Your story is very inspiring. I am an aspiring table tennis player, 10 years old. COVID has made it very difficult to pursue training. I've converted a room in our apartment into a practice room with a table tennis table and practice as much as I can. I would love to get trained by a professional in New York City. Can you give advice on coaching, and do you coach?
Yes, I do
This is
coach,
from
and
Neil.
then you can, yeah, just find me on Instagram, and then we can talk about it later.
Instagram. All right.
Yes.
What's your Instagram name? Is there?
I think if you just search yj.feng, yj.feng, then you can find me
yj.feng. Fantastic.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. Your proudest or favorite Olympic moment?
Proudest favorite Olympic moment? Opening ceremony, walking out of the stadium, chanting USA, USA. Everyone's chanting USA.
I love it. I love it. And we have a wonderful faculty member who's been able to experience that same thing. I can only imagine. Just a couple more. Your favorite table tennis player?
Yeah, probably Janjika. I'm not sure if you guys know him, but he's retired. He transitioned into entertainment world. So he's attending like TV shows and stuff.
Okay.
But I like his play style. You know,
Okay.
When he's still playing.
Speaking of TV shows, you have a question. On which TV show would you most want to make an appearance? Shark Tank, 60 Minutes, that's still around, 60 Minutes, or Euphoria?
Probably Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. Why Shark Tank? Why Shark? You got something to pitch?
I mean, like for 60 Minutes, I don't think my story is, that inspiring, compared to other people's story, because there are so many Olympians. So, I think Shark Tank, I'll have a better chance of selling my product, getting an investment.
Okay, that's probably smart. Just a couple more here. Have you learned anything, lessons, tips from other Olympians that you incorporate into your kind of daily life? Great question.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that. Yeah, give me like 2 minutes. Let's go to.
Okay. And by the way, the shirt question, SPS or Stern, came from David Hollander, just FYI, for the record, for everybody.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's any kind of a battle. Will you be training for the 2024 Olympics, or are you done?
Okay, honestly, right now I'm packed with things to work, but in 2023 I might take out a few months to train and then play the qualifications, but I'm not doing it that seriously right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I might be the team leader for 2024. Just like I'll still go to the Olympics, but I'm just not going to be playing. I might be supporting the team. So.
Okay. Well, that's something I think you even took from your NYU experience, just being a good team player and being supportive. And to that end, maybe the last question here, what does being a team leader mean to you?
Team leader is basically the combination of team captain and then a coach. So for example, like in Tokyo, players and coaches, they have to have like trainings and stuff. So I will take the COVID testing kit, to the team and then sending it to the organization, because every day we have to do the testing and then attend some meetings for COVID protocols. So basically doing stuff that the athlete and coaches that don't have time to do. And because I play table tennis, I will warm up with players that has the game, who couldn't find players to warm up. So just everything that you can to support the team as a team leader.
That's great. So we actually have two more. So pickleball, please comment.
Well, I never played pickleball, but I watched videos on it. Definitely interesting. I would like to try one day. So, but I don't know too much about it.
All right. So for those people out there who want to know, Tom is investigating pickleball. So we'll see. And the last question, which is probably the most an investigative question we could get. You could pick a sports management faculty member who would make an elite table tennis player. Who is it and why?
I mean, I will pick you and Hollander for sure. If you
Hollander gets too much credit.
If you want me to pick one, then I mean, I will set up a match for you guys to play.
Okay, thank you. We'll get down to it. Listen, Tom, what a joy to see you. And I know that was a benefit for everybody listening. And thank you all for listening and for your great questions. Tom, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much, Professor.
Got it. Okay. Danielle, thank you.